Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at ground units, one of the latest and greatest additions to Command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 435, sorry. So what's the big difference between ground units and facilities? Well, let's take a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on my map here. I'll go ahead and switch our team to the appropriate sim. We want to be on red team. I'm going to go ahead and drop a ground unit right here. We're just going to use a regular ground unit. We'll call this one nice and simple. We'll do a T-72B3, nice and simple. Grab that one, and then right over here we're going to go ahead and pop a facility, and that's going to be a T-72. T-72, and obviously we want the nice modern version as well. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so taking a look, you go, hey, obviously that ground unit looks exactly the same as its buddy over here, except for one major difference. The major difference is this is actually an armored platoon. It is a group of ground units. And the way that they store this is basically, if you popped over to weapons real quick, you probably see that each mount weapon is an individual tank with one contained weapon system. It's almost, if you want to think about it this way, there's three T-72 turrets here that are just kind of chilling with each other. Now our ground unit itself, this guy up here, is actually the same basic tank, except if you pop up to weapons, you're going to notice it now has a T-80 turret as its mount. It is a different system. It also has two countermeasure launchers in the event that you want to play with them. You've also got a remote weapon station if you want to play around with that as well. This is a single unit. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, well, can I come up here and do something silly? Well, you could. I don't necessarily recommend that you do something silly, but if you want to do something silly, yeah, you can come up here and do something really silly like this. Let's see here. T-80 main battle tank would be the tank itself. T-80 turret looks pretty good. Boink, and now I have the Mammoth tank from many of the Command & Conquer games because I have dual T-80 turrets. Now, theoretically, you could technically put a T-80 onto a T-80, like T-80ception, or like, it's kind of one of those sort of things. But don't worry about it. So what else is the difference between the two? Well, the first one is my group of tanks do not have fuel. My guy up here, my individual ground unit, does have fuel. As a matter of fact, he has 1,200 units of fuel remaining, which means you can now replenish his fuel so you can actually simulate logistics. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're sitting here going, well, wait a minute. Can I set the fuel quantity? Yeah, you can. So I can actually come up here and say he's a little low on the diesel. Diesel's gotten really expensive recently, by the way. So now he's got 250 units, so I can simulate logistical problems like, oh, there's a fuel truck over here that you have to race over to. And, if I go to ground units real quick, type in F-U-E-L, you'll notice you have a fuel Bowser. This is the only unit that holds fuel. So now that I've got my little fuel Bowser down here, I can actually grab this guy, right-click, and I can actually order him to replenish, select manually, and then go ahead and click. Look at the little fuel icon. Okay, that's just cute. That's just cute. So I go ahead now. Oh my God, how do you click though? Oh, you have to click on it in the center. Oh my God, make it an arrow. Boop. Just like that. So what he's going to do now is I've actually unpaused this. Now my T-72 is going to go bum, 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 bum. He's going to stop there. And he's going to replenish his units of fuel here. He's just kind of gassing up, sort of a thing like that. So you can see now logistics becomes a very, very real potential concern. So the other thing that's big difference is if I click on the database entry, it's a little weird. Click on the database entry for these guys, you notice it has, general sensors and things like that. It has my T-72 mounts. It has my data link, no fuel information. When I take a look at the ground unit version on the flip side, I get a big scary error. That's the joke. That's why I can't have nice things. So anyway, the T-72, I'm not going to rebuild the entire scenario just to show this to you, but I can at least show you sort of what this looks like. So popping over here, you're going to notice that all of the different weapons are now represented on top of this. And instead of having a tank be one of my units, you can see clearly that I got myself an Abrams turret down here. And that's going to be having the actual weapons and things along those as well as the different appropriate arcs. The other big difference is if you scroll down, and now we have things for performance details. This is much more like a ship, or it's a much, much more like a piece like that. Now, what some people are probably asking is the armor different? Unfortunately, at this time, the armor is still considered the same. It is a relatively simple, there's no like front arc, back arc, side arc, or anything like that we have to worry about with these particular new adjustments to ground units. The next thing we're going to be interested in with ground units is what happens when we try to carry them. Well, that's where things get a little more fun for us. But again, nothing bad, nothing bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a good old-fashioned service ship. I'm going to get everybody's favorite LCAC. Let's see here. Let's just grab the schlep. It's a real schlep, so we're going to grab that one. Go up to editor. We're going to go and pop up to unit actions. We're going to edit cargo. And now notice we have the ability to go ahead and load units that are already on the ground. How awesome is that? So our T-72, if we wanted to, we could actually click on this right here. I can say, gimme. And now I've actually stolen the T-72 off the ground and I've slapped them into that. That is one of the coolest new cargo features that they've added. It just simplifies things so simple for the mission builder. Now let's go ahead and eject him. Well, that was very nice. That was very nice. I'm going to eject you. Go back from which you came. But let's say we want to go ahead and grab something out of the database. So if I click on the database, you're now going to notice there's two different options here. We have type ground unit and we have type mobile facility. Mobile facilities are the traditional ground units. They're going to be your platoons. They're going to be your companies, things along those lines. Ground units are going to be like the ground unit we saw. Now notice your masses and crews and all that other good stuff is going to be much, much more precise here. So let's say I want to grab a pair of BTR-82s or something like that. A custom name, Cool Car. That sounds like a legitimate custom name. So now we have Cool Car 1 and Cool Car 2, and notice we now have a little thing on here that lets us know that we have more spaces for Cool Car. Cool Car. We'll do, give me two more of those then. I should have renamed those a little bit there. But you can see it automatically closes this down. I can throw some combat swimmers in there if I wanted. I could even put like a light armored car, like utility vehicle. This would be like a Hummer or something like that. And again, it shows you exactly. So now that I got all my cool cars, I can theoretically unload it. So I'm going to grab my LCAC here. I'm actually going to order him to come over here. Oh my God, the new right click thing. Ah! Sorry, that makes me crazy. They'll fix it. I believe they've actually added a checkbox for it, so I can't complain anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask them quite nicely to go ahead and unload everything that is on board real quickly here. Let's see, unload cargoes right there at the bottom. Unpause, and he's just going to come ripping in here, and he's going to drop off everything that he has. Actually, he would be ripping in here, but I believe that little bug that came up a little bit earlier is caused me issues for that one. So normally what would happen is I'd press this, I'd press unload cargo, and all the things would kind of appear next to them, like you're probably familiar with, and it's going to be done in a different group. Of course, the nice thing here is I can actually go up to the editor now, and I can actually pop into it and do it directly if I wanted to now. All right, everybody get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Sweet, so I've unloaded everybody. And you can see this is one of the major differences here, is the fact that each one of these is an individual unit now. Traditionally, when we did this, they came in giant bobs. It'd be like, infantry combat team. It'd be like 30 tanks in it. Now each one of these is its own vehicle. So hopefully this helps you see the difference between ground units. Once they're on the ground, by the way, once they got fuel and all that other stuff, you can order them to do pretty much anything you need them to do. They didn't want to get out because apparently it's a little tricky to get in and out where we are parked here again. We're sitting here in the middle of the Bahamas. It doesn't surprise me at all. So hopefully this helps you see the difference between ground vehicles and facilities. It's not going to break old units or anything like that. One really cool thing you could do, by the way, and this will be another video in the future, is with the formation editor, you can actually come in here and you can make them do like a big V, and you can have like charge across like the desert or something. But that is for another day. Enjoy.